Hello and welcome back to Premier League Predictions. It's game week 3 and we're going to be starting off on the 31st of August on 12:30 PM and it's at the Emirates Stadium. It's Arsenal versus Brighton and Hove Albion, and at first it looks like this is obviously an Arsenal win, but we do have to account on how good Brighton have been. They have been exceptionally fantastic at the start of the season. 3-0 win against Everton, and they did superb against Manchester United. João Pedro has really started the season strong. Alongside Yankuba Minter, they've still got Matoma, and they had more intensity than Manchester United. And if I would pick a winner, I would have probably said Brighton in that game. But overall, it probably deserved to be more of a draw. But still, Brighton did do very well to get a win, and they thrashed Everton. So I think they will get a goal in this game. Despite Arsenal playing fantastic in terms of defending and David Raya being a great goalkeeper, I think Brighton have got enough attacking quality to get a goal at the Emirates. But that's about it. Arsenal, they're just better. Everyone knows it. They're most probably going to finish in the top 3. They're going to win this game. Home advantage and everything. They're the better side. I'm going 2-1 to Arsenal come the final whistle. The next game's at the City Ground. It's Nottingham Forest versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. And Wolves, you know what, they've got some attacking quality, but they've got some real defending issues. Max Kilman's now gone, and the defence, not amazing. 6 goals against Chelsea, you know, with a massive negative aura around Chelsea, and they concede 6 goals against them. They lost in their first game against Arsenal. To be honest, it has been quite a hard start for Wolves, and it's not going to get any easier going against Forest at the City Ground, because Nottingham Forest have started off the season pretty nicely. 4 points in 2 games, and they actually won away from home. I completely got that game wrong. They won against Southampton. They're a deserved team. They utilised the possession much better than Southampton. They had plenty of shots, plenty of shots, and they've got some world-class attackers, and none of those attackers are injured. So coming into this game, I feel like they're going to be able to score a couple of goals, especially against the Wolves side that conceded 6 last game against Chelsea. But Wolves have still got a decent attack. They've got Cunha up there, which I really do highly rate. And under Gary O'Neill, I'm sure he'll be able to scratch out a draw here. In terms of the quality of the sides, I think it's quite even. I think they're quite even, but I'm going to go down the middle. I am tempted to go Nottingham Forest because it's at home, and they've started the season pretty well. But I am going to go down the middle. It's going to be goals galore. It's going to be 2-2 come the final whistle. And we move over to the King Power Stadium. It's Leicester City versus Aston Villa. And it's the second 3 PM kickoff on the 31st of August. And you know what, Leicester, he lost to Fulham in the last game. They managed to get a point against Spurs. There are some promising signs, but Fulham are kind of that mid-table side, and they're facing a much harder side against Aston Villa, which, can I say, Rodgers, what an absolute great player he is. I mean, his dribbling is sensational. Who needs Moussa Diaby when you have Rodgers in the side? Ollie Watkins, doesn't matter about him. He missed 2 massive sitters. One of them saved by David Raya, but one of them that should 100% have gone in. Really, both of them should have. From a top quality striker, you should think he should be scoring that. But they've got players like Rodgers and everything, and there's going to be an Aston Villa win. Putting it as that, Aston Villa are too good for Leicester City. I'm going for quite a comfortable 3-1 away result towards Aston Villa. As I move over to Portman Road, it's Ipswich Town versus Fulham. And with Sammy Sminnick's debut goal against Manchester City, although it meant nothing because Mirik went on and made another mistake with his feet, just gifted it to it. A bit like the 2 mistakes he made with Burnley. It's happened again, all over again. He still is a good keeper with shot stopping, but he's keep on making the same mistakes, and he's panicking when he's got a ball with his feet. He just panics and he loses it. And overall, wasn't a fantastic performance from him. He's still a good keeper, he's still good at shot stopping, but with his feet, he's not really fantastic. But coming against this game, Fulham is a much easier opponent than Man City and Liverpool, and the fact that they're also at home, and Kieran McKenna's a good manager, and he probably would have learnt how the Premier League works and everything, and we've seen some good signs against Liverpool in the first half, holding off. I feel like at home, against a worse team than Man City and Liverpool, this is their first winnable game. It's definitely their first winnable game, and because of that, they're at least going to get a point, but I cannot see them winning it against a Fulham side which played pretty well against Leicester City. Smith Rowe getting his first goal for Fulham, his first goal in a very long time in the Premier League. He's starting to cook. Anderson comes in for Fulham. If he starts, In my opinion, he's a world-class defender for them, and I don't see them losing this. They just got too good of a good side. So I am going to go down the middle. I feel like Ipswich can do something. I've seen some promising signs, especially with Kieran McKenna being manager, and they're going to be able to get their first Premier League point, and it's going to be 1-1 come the final whistle. As we move over to the G-Tech Community Stadium, it's Brentford versus Southampton. And Southampton, I said they were going to win at 4-2 against Nottingham Forest. And well, they had the possession. They dominated possession. Congratulations. But that's about it. That's where it full stops. I mean, that's all they did. They just holded the ball and didn't do anything with the ball. That's not going to get you anywhere. The style of play from Russell Martin didn't really work going against Nottingham Forest. Possession-based football, but just 5 shots. That's about it. They've got some good talents, but honestly, the style of play wasn't good enough against Nottingham Forest, especially at the St Mary's. But going against Brentford, which I still feel like Wissa and Bwebu, they're fit in the striker position, I think will wreck shreds against Southampton. And yes, they're going to have lower possession, but Southampton can't do anything about it. They look like they're going to go down. Even though it looked promising against Newcastle, even when they do have the chances, they're not clinical, shown in the Newcastle game, and they're not always creating chances from loads of possession-based football like we saw against Nottingham Forest. It's not good enough. Brentford have got this one on the bag, especially with home advantage. I'm going comfortable 2-0 win towards Brentford at the G-Tech Community Stadium. As we move over to Goodison Park, it's Everton versus AFC Bournemouth. Yeah, Everton are in trouble. 20th position, 7 goals, conceded, 0 goals scored. The worst defensive record and the worst attacking record. This has to be their worst start to any season ever in the Premier League. And I'm pretty sure it is. It has to be. I don't think it's the end of the world. I think they will lose this game against Bournemouth. But after the international break, I think with Sean Dyche as the manager, and considering they usually improve as the season progresses, and they've still got some good talents in there, when Jared Brantford returns, if he stays, I feel like Everton will be fine. But coming into this game, for now, I'm going for the obvious one. Everton, it's going to be another meh performance, and Bournemouth, they were absolutely robbed against Newcastle. As a Newcastle fan, I am very happy on how lucky we were, but Bournemouth were robbed. They deserved to win that game against Newcastle, but I am going for a comfortable 2-0 Bournemouth win come the final whistle. As we move over to London Stadium, it's West Ham United versus Manchester City. West Ham, they've done well, and I think they will do well. They'll be fighting for Europe 100%. They'll be up there. They did well against Crystal Palace. Max Kilman, what an assist, what a player, probably maybe even man of the match of that game. He played absolutely superb. West Ham have a great squad, and they're definitely doing well. But against Manchester City, I just can't see it. It won't be like the Ipswich game where they only get 1 shot. They'll still challenge and get like 5 to 8 shots. But the Man City's quality with Ilkay Gundogan returning, it was pretty much like a loan pretty much going to Barcelona. But he's returned after just 12 months. Great to see him there. Man City, complete side now of Ilkay Gundogan. Great side. I'm obviously going to go with them. It'll be probably like 1-1 at half-time, but the Man City will pull away because of the sheer quality they have. And it's going to be 3-1 to Manchester City come the final whistle. As we move over to Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. I mean, obviously, there's a huge negative aura around the club with the amount of players they got, playtime, Raheem Sterling not being happy, Madueke making some controversial social media messages, but then he did apologise for it, which I like from him. And speaking about Madueke on the positive side, is he got a hat-trick in the last game, and he looks superb. And Cole Palmer as well. Cole Palmer to Madueke. Cole Palmer to Madueke. Cole Palmer assisted Madueke like twice, maybe even thrice, I can't quite remember. But it was a sensational performance. Some concerning issues, because in the first half, it looked like it could go either way, but then Chelsea pulled together. Chelsea have the talents. I've said this, and I feel like they can win this. The fact that they scored 6 goals against Wolves is crazy. And the fact that they had some decent signs against Man City, they just had to play a bit safe against Man City. I feel like there's going to be goals. Crystal Palace, the loss of Elise, now a loss of Anderson. Possibly Mark Gay, but he's still not gone, and he is the captain of the side, so he might actually not go for this season. Because if he does go, Crystal Palace are in some deep doo-doo, because no Anderson, no Elise, and no Mark Gay would be huge. But for now, Mark Gay is still here at the time of recording. Crystal Palace, Eze seems to be the one always getting all the opportunities. He's been provided by Wharton. Wharton's playing quite well, feeding the passes to Eze. Eze hit the crossbar, And because they've got a huge negative aura around Chelsea Football Club, I feel like Crystal Palace will be able to score a couple of goals, especially that the defence had some weak points. But Chelsea, like I said, at home advantage, and the fact they scored 6 goals and the side looks too good, they're going to win this. Only just about though, 3-2 in another high-scoring game come the final whistle. We move on to St James's Park. It's Newcastle United versus Tottenham Hotspur. I've been thinking about this in the shower, thinking about it for ages, probably in total over 60 minutes. And I just do not know what the score's going to be. And if that's the case, should I go for a draw? I've just got a funny feeling that it won't be a draw. It'll either be a win for Newcastle or a win for Spurs. But Spurs obviously have been much more convincing than Newcastle United in the first 2 games. Despite both teams having a winning draw, Tottenham have looked much better because Newcastle playing out from the back, sloppy passes, Wolverhampton just running into trouble, Newcastle panicking when they've got the ball playing out from the back. It's just not good enough. With the loss of Fabian Schär because of suspension, it's not looking good for Newcastle. And Tottenham, they look very good. What a game against Everton, and they were in control in the Leicester game as well till the 57th minute. But if Leicester can get a point against Spurs, then why can't Newcastle? And Newcastle, surely it can't get worse than the Bournemouth game. I mean, Newcastle were very lucky. That VAR decision, it hit the shoulder, which I believe in Match of the Day they looked at some sort of rule book, and if it hits the shoulder, then it doesn't count as a handball. So that goal should have been allowed, and I agreed if that's the case, it should have been allowed. Joe Linton was lucky not to get a red card swinging the goalkeeper around like that. It was poor sportsmanship by Joe Linton, and he had a sloppy, sleepy game. But we saw some signs at the start where we looked electric. Isak looked good, but then after that first initial run, he fizzled out. But when we brought on Barnes, it all changed. Anthony Gordon wouldn't have a fantastic game. Till we brought on Barnes, we put Anthony Gordon in the right wing. Then he started having a good game. To begin with, it wasn't. And Anthony Gordon got himself a goal. Barnes, fantastic. He changed the game in the attack. He really did. Bruno Guimaraes started to perform near the end of the game. And Trippier, when he came on, good defending, no mistakes like Wolverhampton made. But Newcastle, with those signs, if we play Harvey Barnes, if we play Gordon and Isak, if Isak could be his world-class self, Joe Linton could be his world-class self, Bruno could be his world-class self, I think that's just an off game. And Eddie Howe, we know how he likes to play, and that was not how Eddie Howe normally plays. So that must be a fluke. That's not how Eddie Howe plays. That's not how the defence performs. So considering we've got a bit of time before the Spurs game, and we've got Nottingham Forest in the EFL Cup where Eddie Howe can experiment, and I've got trust in Eddie Howe that he can turn this around. And with Newcastle being home, with Sandro Tonali returning for the EFL Cup game and this game, and like I said with Eddie Howe, that he should be able to turn this around considering that's not how we play, that should be just an off game. Bournemouth were robbed, we didn't deserve that win, but we still managed to scrape that result. With home advantage, I'm just going to go Newcastle. I did originally have this for Spurs, 2-1, but now I'm going for Newcastle United 2-1. I wouldn't be surprised for a Spurs win. But moving on to the next game. It's at Old Trafford. It's Manchester United versus Liverpool. Arne Slot's got them playing some fantastic football, defensively and attackingly. And yes, I know they probably need a number 6. They need to sign someone. But I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Even if they don't sign anyone, I think they could challenge for the title and could easily win the league title. Because they definitely look like one of the best teams. And they will win this. Sorry, Man United. But Liverpool are playing better football. They're a better team. Even at Old Trafford, you're not ready. Erik ten Hag has said that, and especially after a loss against Brighton, you're definitely not ready. And you only just about got it over the line against Fulham. So I'm going to go Liverpool. I'm going to only go just about Liverpool, so I still feel like Man United have got a good defence. Even though some defending concerns against Brighton, I'm still going to go Liverpool. Only 1-0 though, but it'll be quite a comfortable and a much deserved win to Liverpool. 1-0 to Liverpool come the final whistle. And goal of game week 2, I think I'm definitely going to give it to Bissouma. 100%. It wasn't just the absolute rocket of the goal. It was also Kulusevski's run was absolutely superb as well. So goal of game week 2, 100% goes to Bissouma, who hasn't scored for a while. But in game week 2, how did I do? I got 7 points, another 7-pointer, and overall that puts me on 14 points out of 40 points. So you know what, it's a mess start to things, it's okay, but get your predictions down below, and if you want to see some more of these game week predictions, then consider maybe even subscribing. And if you enjoyed this video, why not like? And if you also enjoyed this video, then why not watch the video that I'm about to show you?